Aneka goes hill trekking in North Wales.
This holiday is based on a farmhouse near Llanberis, but you can be picked up from the bus or rail station at Bangor. We join another train, though, the spectacular Snowdon Mountain Railway.
For nearly 100 years, these Toy Town steam trains have been puffing up the track to the top of the highest mountain in England and Wales. The 5-mile trip takes an hour, provided there aren't too many stray sheep on the line. And for millions, it's the easy way up.
And now for the bad news. I'm not on it. I'm doing Snowdon the hard way. I'm on a week's hiking holiday through some of the wildest scenery in the country. You'll be stretched further than you thought, says the brochure, but you won't snap. We'll see.
The holiday starts and finishes in the middle of Snowdonia National Park at Tally Wine, a traditional Welsh farmhouse. You stay here on the first night. Groups are limited to 6 people, and you don't need to be as fit as a Himalayan Sherpa. The pace is geared to the slowest walker. You cover around 9 miles a day, staying in a different place each night. The bunk-bedded rooms at the farmhouse are strictly functional, with a shared bathroom down the corridor. Ian Whitehead is the leader, and you're very much part of the family.
Yeah. But we don't have to go directly straight.
The soup now.
Okay, coming.
Not the caviar and smoked salmon you promised.
There are 3 full meals a day to build up your energy, including packed lunches en route. Ian's briefings are light-hearted but thorough.
Then there's also a plasticated map inside. Yeah.
All equipment is provided except boots, and stout boots are essential. The weather can sometimes turn nasty, so you get a complete emergency kit. As it happened, we hit a heat wave.
So if you can put a hat on it, then that should warm you up instantly.
The luggage goes ahead by van, so you don't have to hump all your gear around. The first day's a bit of a doddle, really. Just a leisurely stroll through Paddon Country Park, once the centre of the Welsh slate industry. Dinorwic Quarry was the biggest in the world, employing 3,000 men and producing 500,000 tonnes of slate a year. Many of the workers stayed all week on the site, paying the owners 5p a month for the privilege of living in primitive barracks. When tiles replaced roofing slates, the industry collapsed. Now Dinorwic is a museum, and a pretty ghostly one at that. The only thing still working is the 50-foot water wheel, the biggest in Britain. The 840 square miles of Snowdonia was one of Britain's first national parks. The peaks, 14 of them higher than 3,000 feet, zigzag on the skyline like a temperature chart. This is where Ian assesses our capabilities before fixing our final route for the week. And, more important, the track up Mount Snowdon.
Warmed up a few degrees.
By the time you've finished with us, Ian, I should think we'll be jumping in with Gare Band.
Oh dear, that's it, looming up ahead. From this point, there are 3 different ways up, and each one presents a different challenge. We can't be in that bad shape because Ian has chosen a fairly rugged route called the Miners' Track. Snowdon was first conquered in 1639, and from then on it has seen a constant procession of climbers and hikers. In 1856, a tourist route, but Snowdon is thronged this summer. It is ascended by everyone. All I can say between gasping for breath is that they must have taken one of the other ways up.
Okay, you know what they say, mad dogs and Englishmen. Only another 1,000 feet to go.
We've been climbing for nearly 3 hours, and frankly feel a lot better now than when we started. We're on top of the world. This is the rooftop of Wales, 3,560 feet up, with the kind of view that's usually reserved for the birds.
It's quite an achievement, but not exactly a solitary one, because in the middle of summer there can be 1,000 people up here. It's a bit like climbing Everest and going to plant your flag and finding that someone's beaten you to it.
Peak season with a vengeance. It presents an enormous conservation problem. Paths are eroding under the tramp of 500,000 people each year, leaving a repair bill of £80,000. Arriving at Pennygurid Hotel puts our climb into proportion. It's been welcoming mountaineers for 130 years. The British team that scaled Everest in 1953 trained here. They presented the hotel with a piece of the summit and autographed the bar ceiling.
John Hunt. Is that him? Yes, yes. Have you seen this? This is the original tankard of Sir Edmund Hillary. Special honour for my first time up Snowdon. Do you think it's going to rub off on my climbing? That's what I want to know.
I'm sure it will.
Pigs will fly. That's good.
We're well into our third day now, and we've already covered 20 miles and ascended 7,500 feet. This is traditional sheep country. In the old days, farmers used to drive their livestock 400 miles to the London markets. It took them 2 months. Now that's what I call a hike. Cwmegi Eye is the highest mountain hut in Wales, 1,200 feet up in the Cernyddau range. It's the first of our 2 nights sleeping rough. And after a quick brew up, there's a jolly little surprise waiting for us.
The tea bags are over there, Dorothy.
Alpine-style communal bunks. The boys are banished to the top floor while we can have cosy little chats downstairs.
It's like, isn't it? 6 go hiking together. Certainly one way of getting to know your group. Wonder who's sleeping on top of me tonight.
I don't have piranhas in Wales, do they?
Our second night is under the Snowdonia stars. Intense that are ready and waiting as we plod in, and a hearty stew just coming to the boil. Now you really could be in the Himalayas. The sense of tranquility is overwhelming. Yes, I was stretched. No, I didn't snap. Tomorrow it's back to the farmhouse and a lovely bath. One final ceremony. Ian hands out our end of trek certificates.
Very much. And Aneka, 45 miles, 14,000 feet of ascent. Well done.
Seems like 4,445 miles, but never mind. I think it's the old boots that deserve the certificate.
Yes, I think you ought to hang them up and gold plate them when you get there.
A week's trekking in Snowdonia this year starts at £195 and goes to £245 in the summer. Accommodation, meals and equipment are included, along with transfer from Bangor.